Good afternoon, everyone. EagleX from ATX EagleX Gaming here today, and I have a deck profile on one of my favorite decks lately, Waifu Control, featuring our anti-otk package. Let's go ahead and get started talking about this deck. So first, this is a security control style deck. It's more of a tempo style deck, but just briefly going over it. This is a deck using the new Digimon X package to provide a cheap alternative for recovery and security tempo style gameplay, similar to what Jet Selfie was doing previously in Yellow Hybrid, and since that hit, this is a deck I've been working on a whole lot. And additionally, the starter deck Angelomon from the Mastamon starter deck is used for the extra aggression so you can keep up in pace with this OTK format. So this deck is built around the entire OTK format in terms of answering aggressive single stack decks, with the toolbox of starter deck Angelomons on play to give -2 checks, Sakuyamon from BT9, and powerful options are all strong ways you have to deny an OTK from those decks. You can choose to slow them down with, and then tempo out other traditional decks as well. And ideal openers for this deck include the Gatomon and Yellow Tamers. Gatomon's probably first priority, as it tutors 27 different cards in this deck in the form of floodgates, in the form of your stack building cards, your recovery cards. And then the Yellow Tamers are also super strong, as they give you access to your yellow-purple options, which, surprise, surprise, your deck will be running a lot of. In addition to Gatomon tutoring pieces, though, it can also give you cheap evolution up to your level 5 Angelomon, Angelomon X for free, and then Ufani for its level 6. Let's go ahead and talk about some of these combos. So, there's lots of things to be mindful of when you play this deck. First, I've already said Gatomon. It's an amazing tutor for this deck, as you tutor 27 separate cards, excluding itself. Cards if you haven't read yet. One of my favorite cards of this deck is Starter Deck Angelomon. This card, if it's called with Flame Hell Scythe, can give -2 security checks to an opponent's Digimon, which, if you compare it to a Recover with Magnet Angemon, a Magnet Angemon is a gamble, assuming you can kill with a security option. However, Angelomon just denies any further checks and keeps your security stack healthy and alive. But then, to follow up your Angelomon, you have your Angelomon X Antibody. If you guys haven't seen this card before, it goes over Angelomon for free, and it has a conditional recover. If you have Angelomon or X Antibody in its sources, you can recover if you have 5 or less security. So it lets you go up to 6 security, and not to mention, when Digivolving, it gives -1 check to a Digimon. And then, to follow up that stack, I love going into my Ufani fall down mode, as it is not capped at its recovery. And in addition to that, you can pop a memory blocker or a small level 4 if you have a purple in your source. And in addition to that, if it gets deleted, you can call a Gatomon from its sources to tutor out more of your deck and be more consistent in finding pieces for your game plan. Now, the last thing I do want to point out and be mindful of is that your floodgates are amazing in various matchups. Psychmon can slow down D-Reapers a whole lot. However, it is in all turns players can't reduce play costs, so this will hurt you if you try slamming down a Death X. Or you can deny your opponent's Death X or BL Star with it, though, on the flip side. Let's go ahead and talk about the deck profile. So, when I was working on building this deck, I wanted to mimic the playstyle of security control, but be able to provide aggression and have a very potent package in it. So this Angel Waifu Control deck is a security tempo style deck that aims to control your opponent's board while pushing damage with rookies and Ufani stacks to keep poking and dealing damage with. And the starter deck Angelomon is definitely a key card in this deck, as it allows you to recover with Angelomon X, deny checks with its on play, provide extra damage with its inheritable, which is live very frequently. So when I was going through, I looked at the most effective floodgates for format. Gazimon is amazing to deny memory gaining effects from a bunch of different decks, from the form of their memory boost, or when they go up in their X-Antes for Alphamon in particular, because you can pitch a card to gain a memory, and that slows them down a lot. If you have 2 Gazis out at the same time, though, You find Alphamon really struggles, and this deck really strives super well against Alphamon. Psychemon is really meant for the D-Reaper matchup, as that was super popular at the start of our format and taking lots of tournaments, so I wanted to have answers for it. And not to mention, it also stops BL Star and Death X's from your opponents, and Stingmons. That's, I think, all the relevant things in format. Then we do have our Gatomon tutoring card on play. Triggers from options, it triggers from Ophani's deletion. This card is just super solid overall. Then we do run one Magna Angemon because the no conditional recovery is super good still, and this card is definitely not one to sleep on. I've already explained the Angemon package. The Ophani Fall Down is your level 6 that you go over the Angemons with to get extra recoveries and to start pushing damage and to call Gatos on deletion, so it punishes your opponent from removing your board or swinging over it. Then you have Sakuyamon. It is an answer to single stacks hiding and raising, which is why we're not super option heavy besides the potent options that will do something for sure. The Death X's are a great way to punish decks that rely on Tamers a lot and overextending on them. Alphamon, if they have 4 Cool Boys, a Yuji, and a Coda, you can slam this down for 2 in response to that, and it's a really difficult situation for a lot of decks to come back from if you have Sakuya and Death X at the same time. Fly Bullet, it's removal for level 6 or lower. It's good. You have a purple base, so that's why we're using it. Flame Hell Scythe being a call target for your Angelomon to deny checks, your Magna Angemon to heal, your Gatomon to tutor, your Floodgate rookies to slow down your opponents. It's a very versatile card. Holy Wave is a great filler to recover more. It's not a go-to card all the time. It gets trashed a lot with Niaromon when you draw one, pitch one for having a yellow Digimon on field. It's typically my first thing to go. The one of Reinforcing Memory Boost. It's a good card. Chaos Degradation. This is your basically always live removal. It hits anything in format unless there is a Congo out on the field, but that is fine, and that's why you run Angelomon to play around Congo plays. If you can't recover, Magnet Angemon is offline, Angelomon X is offline, but you can deny checks for your opponent and lock them out in a turn in return. Then you run 4 Mimi. This card is amazing to deny your opponent. Hammer Sparks slows them down if they use a memory boost. It often passes them turn. If you have 4 Mimis out at the same time, you can deny a turn with a Delicate Plan if they get fixed to 3. I've had that happen frequently. And then it also keeps your options cheaper if you're casting them to be on the defense. TK is a great card to use in the early game. It tutors out your security to get pieces you might need for further plays, so it grabs Angelomon X, Angelomon Gatomon, or it can even grab a Reinforcing Memory Boost or Sakuyamon depending on the matchup for what you want. And to wrap it up, I have 3 Fixer Karis. It's another way to keep turn. If you go into Angelomon X, you actually gain a memory, as she digivolves for free to get the recover, and then Kari will net a memory still because you recovered. Now, in the list below, I have cards I was considering and I'm still looking at using into this deck. I wanted to use Avenge Kid really badly, but there's just not enough options to make him a viable pick, and he kind of becomes clunky in the deck as well. But cards I thought would be cool to include, I thought the promo Gatomon would be another really cool call target from the Ophani. In addition, if you run the old Mastamon, you can burn your opponent's security and recover with Gatomon at the same time, so you net 0. Underworld's Calling is a great way to get Gatomon out from the grave. Same with the rookie Floodgates again. Schwarzlahars, or Purple Jawalt is what I call it, is a great way to answer wide boards, but that's what Death X is in my mind, just a way to answer a wide board. So I felt like it'd be redundant to have both of them, but it's still not a bad option. Darkness Wave is a very flexible card in this deck. Because you have purple and yellow Digimon you don't mind returning to your hand, I thought it'd be a great way to recur some resources in the deck. Wyvern's Breath being another strong removal. However, because we're purple base, I opted to not lean into it and use Fly Bullets instead. Holy Flame, another strong yellow option. Mario Gaming World hypes this up a lot, but negate 1 scary check on all of your opponent's Digimon. It's a strong security effect. And then using the purple Kari Fixer, this is something I do want to work into the build a lot. as it's a way to slow down your opponents and force them to pass turn more frequently than others. Well, guys, that's my deck profile for my Angel Waifu Control. If you enjoy it, let me know in the comments below. And if anyone from Market Discussions Worldwide server is down here, leave a comment down below. Let me know that y'all are here. That being said, take care, y'all. Have a nice day.